Brother Ben here. Brother Ben. Now, Ben got a heck of a program. A lot of people listening to Brother Ben. And Ben tells them about the minister. And Ben tells them about the minister.
Peace, family, in the name of Allah, the beneficent and merciful. I bear witness there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. I would like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace. We said in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. For those who don't know, Assalamu alaikum simply means peace be unto you. Just wishing you peace this morning. Today we're going to be starting off the week, man, with a message from Tony Robbins speaking about the 6 psychological needs that secretly control our life. And then we're going to watch about how to master our state and shift our identity. There's a lot of things, man, that you're going to learn inside of BWF. There's a lot of things you're going to learn in life. There's a lot of things you're going to learn on YouTube. But what I found is that many of us learn a lot of things, but then we struggle to execute on it. How many of y'all can bear witness and say that's kind of what you've been experiencing, where you got a lot of knowledge, you've been exposed to a lot of knowledge, you got books. I mean, you got, man, all kind of books. You done watch many YouTube videos and many podcasts, but it seems like the changing and the transformation of my life isn't as equal to it. It's something that's still kind of holding me back. So I want to strive to kind of tap into that today and see if you can be exposed to something that can help you with what needs to be focused on to really bring about the transformation in our life that we want, along with the knowledge that some of us, here's the key, already have. Already have. You already know what you're supposed to maybe be doing for your business. You already know what you maybe could be doing better with your family. You already know what you possibly could be doing better in self, but something just isn't clicking. So hopefully today we can kind of maybe get close to identifying that. So let me share my screen here. And for those of y'all who are here for your very first time, this is what we do in the Power Call Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central Time. We get on and we're watching something productive. We're watching something that's educational. And then we share our feedback at the end of what stood out to us. And please don't be shy, even if this is your first time, in sharing what actually stood out to you, because the more vulnerable you are, open you are about what stood out to you, is going to allow other people to do the same. And then we can learn from each other, not just the speaker, not just me. We can learn from each other because all of us got experiences that are valuable. And when we share those, it just makes the call much better. All right, so here we go. Let me share my screen. And don't forget to take notes.
Do for a reason. There's only so many reasons. There's a million stories, but there's only 6 reasons. 6 needs we're trying to meet. What's the first need? Do you guys remember? Certainty. We do a lot of things for certainty. Everything she was talking about to me was about certainty, if you listen. She felt uncertain. She's going to lose her child. Uncertain about, I'm going to go to jail. She was living in uncertainty, wanting certainty, but producing uncertainty over and over again by what she pictured in her head, what she did with her body. She put herself in an unresourceful state, crying sad, went back into the past, remembered selectively things. Notice when I asked questions, I got to stop distorting, deleting. We found out the picture was different than the way she made it in her head. But it was all about getting certainty. Certainty is the basic human need. Then there's the need for uncertainty. Ironically, if you're totally certain all the time, it's great in the beginning and then you're bored out of your mind. So what happens? We need variety. We need uncertainty. We need it to feel alive. Variety is the what of life? The what? Spice of life, right? So variety is the spice of life. But what's interesting is when people are totally certain they're bored, when they have too much variety, they freak out. So is your goal to be the lukewarm middle? No, your goal should be able to produce both of them. You can produce certainty and uncertainty in the same situation. Why would you watch a movie you've already seen? because you're certain it's good, but you hope it's been long enough you forgot enough shit that it'll still be variety when you watch it a second time. True? Third need is the need for significance, the need to feel unique, to feel special, to feel important. Who has that need? Everyone. The only difference is what's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The top 2 control the direction of your life. So someone who's significance driven at number 1, all these needs are important. Significance is very important. But there are different ways to get significance, different ways to get certainty. If significance is higher than love, you're not going to have much love in your life because you're always trying to prove that you're better than the other person. And many of us don't understand these patterns are affecting everything in your mind. So you have to understand most of what affects your life are invisible forces. Think about that. The most powerful forces in your life are invisible. Gravity. Without it, you die. Too much of it, you're crushed. Radiation. Too little, you die. Too much, you die. There's a certain balance of it, right? But the most powerful invisible forces are the beliefs and values that control every thought, feeling, and emotion of your life. Because what they generate is the thing you call your life, which is really the feelings you have, the emotions. Because it's not how many things you have. You can have all the things and want to kill yourself. The quality of your life is the quality of your consistent emotions. If there's any goal out of this week is you want a new set of consistent emotions that are the ones you really want out of your life, regardless of what happens, so you're able to take whatever happens and squeeze out of it the greatest juice possible. But your need structures will affect that. And I'm bringing it up because when people speak, within seconds, if you listen, they're telling you their need structures. And some of you have needs organized in a sequence that makes it really hard for you to win. Besides significance, feeling unique and special and important, what else is another? What's the fourth need? It's love and connection. Now, what's interesting is see how certainty and uncertainty seem opposites? And if you go for one or the other, it's not enough, and to be in the middle, lukewarm. You want to learn how to make yourself certain. You want to learn how to be able to use uncertainty. If you want to be unique and certain, those people get it, then they go, but I'm missing connection. And if they go connection, they're totally in love with somebody, it's great for a while, and they go, but what about me and my own significance? And so you see there's a push-pull between these needs that create conflicts for people if they don't understand what you're going to learn in the next few days. And by the way, connection and love are not the same thing. Connection is crumbs compared to love. But most people settle for connection because love's too scary. They may have loved really deeply and then it ended and they don't ever want to feel that again, so they settle for the crumbs of connection. But everybody finds it. You can connect by having a dog if nothing else works. And don't get a cat, they'll leave. Get a dog. You leave for 2 minutes, it's like you've been gone for 6 months. They love you every minute, right? So think about it. You can have connection with God through prayer. You have connection in nature. You can have connection through a friendship. There's so many ways for connection. Then those first 4 needs are the basic needs of every human being. We need certainty, uncertainty, we need to feel significant, we need to feel connection or love. Everybody gets those, even if you have to lie to yourself, which is what most people do. The ultimate spiritual needs, not most people do not meet, and that's why most people are unhappy. The 5th human need is growth. As we said earlier, you grow or you die. And when you grow, that's progress, that's when you feel alive. It's not even when you achieve the goal. It's making progress. It's the growth. And when you grow, you have something you can give, which is 6th need, which is contribution. Because as long as it's just me, you can only feel so much by yourself. That's why whenever you have a great experience in life, something really special, what's the first thing you want to do? Share it with somebody you want. When you share it, it magnifies it. You only feel so much yourself. That's why we have relationships, families, aliveness, friendships, etc. Now, of those 6, people tend to have 2 they specialize in, meaning they value the most. So if someone values certainty and you try to change things, they get really pissy or freaked out. They're there at a certain time, and if you're not that time, they freak out. Somebody with variety wants to jump out of an airplane. Somebody with certainty is like, you can go to hell. Somebody who's significance-driven is wanting significance. Everybody wants it, but if it's number 1, it's more important certainty, it's more important variety, it's more important love, it's more important growth or contribution. That usually creates real problems because the only way you know something significant is by comparing it to something else. And the biggest mistake we all make as humans is we unfairly compare ourselves to others who are in a different stage of life or a different level of development or a different skill set or a different focus. And we also distort, delete, and generalize how great their life is compared to ours, which is why most people that go online, especially women, by the way, girls, young girls especially, get so depressed because they're comparing themselves to something that is totally fake and phony. People use filters. They create a world that isn't real. And then people look at themselves and go, I'm not that, I'm not enough. And it's much worse for girls because then there's the physical side of culture saying this is what's attractive or not. If you find out what the top needs are, when you're talking, you find out the needs. I already know what your problems are and what your opportunities are. If I'm going for certainty, I'm going to probably move this direction. And direction determines ultimate destination or destiny. You keep going in direction, you're going to get to a destiny. If I'm going, let's say, for uncertainty, I'm moving this direction. Does that make sense? If I'm trying to be significant, I'm going to do one thing. If I'm trying to feel love, that's another thing. Whatever's the top of your list has been controlling your life. Two people can have the same needs even, but we have different rules for meeting them. And all rules is a set of beliefs about what has to happen for me to be successful or to me to be loved or to me to be whatever. You're going to discover not only do I have needs, but to meet those needs, I've developed kind of like, imagine the target is the need I'm after, and I have like this bow and arrow. The arrow is going to be my action, and I'm going to zone in on that, how I'm going to get there through the sight, and the sight is my values. So if I want freedom as a value, I'm wanting freedom because it's going to meet some of those needs, I think. Or I want security as a value. And if we shift the order of any of this, it changes completely how your brain experiences life. What if you could influence someone before you even met them? Is that possible? They're not even in your presence. Yes, there is one way to do that, by creating a brand. Now, I don't care whether you own a company or you work for someone else. If you aren't consciously creating a brand, you are not going to move up. In a company, in your own company, with your clients, what is a brand? A brand is the power to influence somebody before you open your mouth. I want you to understand the power of a brand. Even if you don't own a business, you have a brand with your kids. Parents will come to me all the time and they'll say, hey, would you tell my kid to stop doing this or doing that? And I go, well, yeah, I'd be willing to, but why? Because he'll listen to you. Because he loves you. He does. And I said, well, really? I said, well, why doesn't he listen to you? Because your brand is you change your mind, or your brand is you don't hold him to a standard. Brand influences everyone. So you must become conscious of a brand. And your brand even influences you. You can change your own brand. If you want to change and get any new result, you want to lose weight, you want to make more money, you want to attract someone, you want to revitalize a relationship with more passion where it doesn't feel like it, you want to influence your kids, any new result requires new action. New actions, though, can feel hard to do sometimes. But they only feel hard to do because you're not in the right state. See, if you think, I don't know, I always procrastinate, it never works, and that's your identity. Identity is another word for brand. You're going to procrastinate all the time. But if you develop a belief that says, no, I find the way, I always find the way, I kick ass, I take names, and you do that enough till you believe it, that's your brand in your mind, you will step up, you will follow through, you will not put it off. So if you want to get a new result, you need new action. Don't work on the action. That takes willpower. I have a lot of willpower. I bet you do too, or you wouldn't be in a place like this. However, there's a limit to willpower for anyone, but there's no limit when you're in state. It just flows. So how much of you we experience is based on your state. So what we want to learn is to put ourselves in those states. Put yourself in the right state, dieting's easy. Put yourself in the wrong state, you're wasting your time. Nothing's going to change. The number one way to change your state is to change what we call your physiology. Physiology is a big word for how you use your physical body, the way you move, the way you breathe, the tone of your voice, the tempo. All of those things change your biochemistry like that. And when you do it, it'll change your state. So if a person's in this state, okay, yeah, all right. You know it's not going to happen. If they're in this state saying, move, you know it's happening. That change in the shoulders, that change in the breath, that change in movement, that change in the voice, changes everything that fast. When you change the body radically, not a little change, a radical change, your whole state changes, your behavior will change, and your results will change. The other way you can change state in an instant is by changing your focus. Focus equals feeling. Focus equals feeling. Whatever you focus on, you're going to feel, even if it's not true. So guess what? It doesn't matter what's true. The minute you focus on something, that's what's true for you. It's like focus equals reality for the individual. even though it's not reality and actuality. So learning to control our focus is the second skill that will change your whole life. If you want to feel the way you want to feel, you got to learn not to focus on it. If you want to feel the way you feel, you got to use your body in a certain way. It is that simple. And how fast does it work when you really do it? How fast? In a heartbeat. But you got to train yourself to do it. And after a while, it becomes second nature. You don't have to work at it. It's just who you are. It's not phony. It's not fake. It's not effortful. But you got to train it like a muscle. So if we change those two things, we can change our results in any area of our life. But if you don't change those and you're in the wrong state, you can use all the effort in the world. It won't come across. It won't work. One of the earliest athletes I worked with was a tennis star. And his name was Andre Agassi. He had been number one in the world. And then he dropped to, I think it was number 24 or 25. A horrific drop. He couldn't do anything right. And then he sprained his wrist. And his father was his coach, and so they had a dynamic between him and his father. And years later, when he wrote his biography, he said he was actually thinking of quitting tennis back then. So I asked him questions, and he started telling me his problem. My problem is my wrist, and I can't do this, and I did this, and I trained that, and my father this. All these stories. Because by the way, when you're in a lousy state, guess how you stay there? You come up with all stories about why you're there. She did this, he did that, I didn't do that, this didn't work out. That's what we are, we're storytellers. If you tell the right story, you'll be empowered. Tell the wrong story, you're disempowered. So I said, okay, I hear all that. I hear you're frustrated. I hear nothing's working. So let me ask you a question. I said, have you ever hit a tennis ball perfectly? Close your eyes and step into that moment. You hit the tennis ball perfectly. And then do it again and again in your mind. And all of a sudden, gradually, he starts, his eyes are closed, he got this smile that becomes a big smile. I said, okay, open your eyes. I said, so here's my question. How'd that feel? Well, it felt great, of course. I said, here's my question. Were you ever thinking about your wrist? He said, no. I said, then how did you ever imagine that focusing on your wrist would ever get you back to that performance? You have this in your body. You need to go into that state. And the state is triggered by what you do with your body, physiology, and focus. And I said, I'm going to show you. I had videos ready. And I said, watch this. And the video comes on, and it's Andre when he won at Wimbledon, when he was number one. And here's what you notice. He walks out on the tennis court like this. He goes, like a tiger. And he takes the ball and he goes, boom, boom. And while he watched the video, I'm watching him, he starts smiling from ear to ear. I said, do you remember that moment? He goes, oh yeah. I said, first of all, notice how you walked. You didn't walk, you were like prowling, right? And then you bounced the ball like this. I said, but now, when you were looking at him, there was an intensity in your eyes. Do you remember what you were focusing on? He goes, I remember the moment like it was yesterday. I was looking at him and I was thinking, why did you even show up? So he had total certainty. But now, I'm not certain. So here's the point. He had the skill, but he wasn't using it because he was in the wrong state. In the wrong state, you come up with every reason, every excuse, every problem, and then it keeps you there. So all we have to do is discover how you use your body when you're most certain. Because think about it, that's a leadership quality, isn't it? Certainty. Somebody's like, I don't know, what do you think? No, somebody that knows, that feels it. That's what people are looking for, that's what makes somebody a leader. But you can be a leader in your own life. But we got to change the pattern of your physiology. If I want to build my bicep, how do I do it? You pick up a weight and you do curls. Now, if I do a weight where I can do 100 curls, what's going to happen on my bicep? Nothing. I'm going to keep it. If I don't use it, though, I will lose it. But if I take a weight that's super difficult and I can barely do 9 of these, and I push myself, and you get to 10 and 11, and those last 2 that you never would have done give you 90% of the growth in the muscle. It's the same thing in emotional muscles. Faith unused dwindles. Courage unengaged shrinks. Passion unexpressed becomes weaker. So if you want it, you got to use it. And the way you use it is physiology and focus. And that's what the secret to all this is. But we got to go beyond just understanding this to doing it. And when you do this, engage, give you 90% of the growth in the muscle. It's the same thing in emotional muscles. Faith unused dwindles. Courage unengaged shrinks. Passion unexpressed becomes weaker. So if you want it, you got to use it. And the way you use it is physiology and focus. And that's what the secret to all this is. But we got to go beyond just understanding this to doing it. And when you do, everything changes. Every feeling you've ever wanted to feel, proud, strong, in love, excited, passionate, confident. You felt it sometime in your life. And if you've ever felt it, you can feel it again if you do what you did then in the same pattern. The same pattern of focus and physiology will give you that feeling now, not 10 years from now when you achieve that ultimate goal. Achieve the goal too, but why not have a good time along the way by becoming the master of your state? If you master your state, you master your life.
Man, all right, family, pressing number 1. If you have anything that you would like to share that stood out to you from those 2 videos, if there's anything that stood out to you that you would like to share, press number 1 so we can have you unmute and share what stood out to you. What the first thing I want us to do is think about those 6 things, the 6 psychological needs, which is number 1, certainty. He says we want certainty. I want to be sure of something. I want to be stable in an area. But there's also a need for us to have uncertainty, a little spontaneous here and there. So we need variety just to feel alive. It's true. Just to feel alive. So there's a need for uncertainty. Then there's a need for significance. The need to feel important, the need to feel special, the need to feel seen. Then we have the 4th need, love and connection. We need the love and connection. Number 5, growth. He said you're either growing or we're dying. When you grow, you feel alive. He said it's not the achieving of the goal, it's the fact that I'm growing. That's what makes me feel alive. I'm growing. You hear a lot of millionaires and billionaires oftentimes say it's about the journey, because when you get there, it's not as cool as you think. I mean, it's cool and all, but I mean, once you get there, it's not this big reward that you thought it was. It was the journey getting there. And then number 6, contribution. You want to contribute, offer something. I can recall sister texting us one time saying, man, I'm getting up in age and I just want to, I want to leave something behind. I don't want to feel like I've been here and for nothing, right? We want to contribute to the world. We've been here. So I want us to think, family, what is your order? Because what he's basically describing to us is our order of our needs is significant. I like the example he gave. The 2 people of the 6, there's usually 2 people valued the most, right? So if I'm in love and I value significance over love, it may cause me to act a certain type of way in the relationship where I need significance over the love. So instead of me doing things that builds the love, I'm doing things that's really building me, because there's a higher need for me to feel significant. Now, in your mind, nigga selfish, she's selfish. But if you understand, on her value ladder, there's a need for significance. That's her top 1. That's his top 1. And then going a little deeper, figuring out not just what the value is, y'all, but why is that the value? See? So he didn't go into that. But as I was listening to this, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, let's identify him. Let's put him in order. But then I want us all individually to think about, why is that my top 1? Is there a void in my life as a child where there was a lack of significance, where there was a lack of feeling worthy? So my top thing is I want to feel significant. That's deep. Love and connection. Growth. Uncertain. What is your order? What is your top 2? And then I want you to ask yourself, man, why is that my top 2? And then we getting closer and closer to discovering ourselves. Because as we was listening to this, man, I mean, all of us, I'm sure it hit us. And I don't care if you're a millionaire, multi-millionaire. I don't care if you live in check. I don't care if you're homeless. These 6 we all can relate to. We all need certainty every now and again. Look, uncertainty. We all want to feel significant as much as we try to say we don't. I don't need that, Man, there's a need for significance. Love and connection. No matter how much we try to say we don't need love. I don't need nobody. Oh, that's a mask because you done been hurt, boy. It's a mask because you done been hurt. So we all need some little love and connection now. You wasn't born and made to just be alone. That's why when we was born, there was a need for the mother's breast. Now, we may not have done it. The umbilical cord, that was a need for you. You needed another human being to survive, no matter if you wanted to or not. Whether if it was your mother or not, there was a need for other human beings for your growth. And that don't change just because we adults. Come on, man. The need for growth. Some of us feel the way that we feel because we feel that we're not growing. And if you're not growing, we're dying. And then we want to contribute. If I can't contribute anything, sometimes we feel unworthy. I have nothing to contribute. Or I feel that my contribution isn't that significant. So this is deep, man. This is deep. It said the order of these is important. If significance is above love, you will struggle in love because you'll be trying to show how you're better. Now imagine this, y'all. Now, as we listen to this, and I'm going to pass it, but I'm just trying to spark you because I don't see a lot of number ones because I don't know if we was listening to the same lecture. I'm like, man, he's saying this. I'm like, ooh, I can see this in my life here and there. You know what I mean? So one more time, certainty. That's number 1, certainty. I see you, Pat. I'm coming to you. Uncertainty. That's the second one. We need variety. 3, significance. We need to feel important and special. 4, love and connection. We need love and connection. 5, we need growth. And then number 6, we need contribution. So it said 2 people can have the same goals, but have different rules to how to meet those needs. He said there's a sequence in which we achieve things. What was the sequence? Her sequence may be different than my sequence. And here you are, we think this person is a bad person. Here's the key piece I want us to really think about. We say this, we judge a person, not knowing there may be a reason that they're this way. Why significance is so high. Not that they right in what their action is, but there's a level of understanding that I can start to get now. Now, why this sister always, it always got to come back to her. It always got to come back to him. Or shoot, why it always got to come back to how I feel? Ooh, is significance high up on there on your values? Now what they doing still may get on your nerves, but now there's a certain level of knowledge and understanding that comes with viewing this person. And now you can see why this person is the way they is, and it can give you a little bit more patience with them. So that's what I'm seeing up out of this. Let's go to Pat. Let's see what Pat got. What stood out to you?
Peace, family.
Peace.
Yeah, I wanted to take some notes, but I'm out moving and driving around. But one thing that stood out to me for sure when he was talking about focus, and he was also talking about, the physical position that you can put your body in to instantly change your state. And, I think about how he said, you roll your shoulders back and, it'll change your position, your disposition, or how you see things and whatnot. And, it's just real interesting how, simple movements can change us, right? And it's a form of healing too. They say that movement is healing. And, if you slouching all the time, that's body language. So you got to think about body language. Language is a form of communication. And you're not only using body language to communicate to other people, but you're also communicating with yourself as well. Because they talk about how when thoughts of things. And, when you're talking to people, this is the type of messages that you sending, but you send messages to yourself by the things that you do to yourself and the way that you treat yourself and how you position yourself. So, I think about how important that is for people to be able to, what we do, we roll our shoulders back, we have our head up, and we push our hips forward, right? So all that stuff is important because the way that you position yourself, it all plays a role in the position that you are putting yourself in life. And then also focus as well. The things that we focus on, the three gates. I think it's the three gates into the mind or an individual is your ears, your eyes, and your mouth. What you say or what you put in your mouth, what you seeing, what you looking at, what you listening to. When Ramadan was over, shoot, my focus wasn't on Ramadan no more. So it's like, shoot, I'm eating a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So, but Ramadan is beautiful because once you do something for so long, and then if you revert back to something else, then if you are paying attention to yourself, then you will see and notice slight and subtle changes and differences, right? And they say that when your digestive system is working, it takes up about 70% of your energy in your body. So, people, they get the itis and all this and that because they may overeat or whatever. And, I noticed for me that if I eat a substantial amount of food, then I will not like, I won't want to be as active, because during Ramadan, when it's like, I was eating, not eating throughout the day. It was like I didn't have no choice but to focus on like, what extra work can I get done? What more can I do? Just to help the time go past by too. Because if you're just sitting down looking at the clock, then you're doing damage to yourself waiting for that sun to set. So yeah, I'm just saying all that to say, just the physical position that you put your body into, like he was saying, and then also the things that you focus on. I just thought that was real beautiful when he was making those points as to like, if you want to change yourself, then these are some of the things that you have to adhere to. But that's all I wanted to share, family. Peace.
Peace. Man, thank you for sharing that about Ramadan, about how, and I want us all who participated in Ramadan to think about. I think that's a great reflection to think about how we are right now versus how we were a month ago. Are we different? And are we different in a good way or a bad way? Think about how we was focused on making my prayer. We was focused on reading something every day. We was focused on, I'm about to fast. I'm about to be disciplined. And then after Ramadan, this is what I think about, right? We say, oh, eating 1 meal a day. And we hear that, and you first hear that 1 meal a day, man, I can't do that. And then you get in Ramadan and you kind of forced to do 1 meal a day. If you don't eat in the morning, because y'all already know, by the time we eat in the evening, your stomach, you think you finna eat the whole plate, and you don't even eat the whole plate. You eat half the plate because your stomach done shrunk. Because the only reason we eat the way we eat is because we make our stomachs bigger by the way that we eat. So you obviously see that it's possible. So look at what's possible when we focus on it. So the question becomes, man, what are we really focused on throughout our everyday life? What has life distracted us to focus on? Because obviously when we focus on something, we can do it. We can achieve it. So could the enemy be if I can just get her to be distracted and not focus on what she's supposed to be focused on, can I get him to just be distracted and get him not to just focus on what he needs to be focused on? And I got him. Because yes, things can become a habit, but if it hasn't become a habit yet, we got to focus on it. Think about some of us. Oh, I'm not good at technology. Oh, no, I'm not good. Oh, I'm not you wasn't good at driving before you knew how to drive. Of course you're not. How much focus and time, intentional time, have you spent learning it? Many of us didn't know how to work Zoom before we what? Put a little time in learning how Zoom worked. Now look at all of us logged in on Zoom. You got your name, you got your profile on there. You know how to unmute yourself. But look at how many of us, what we focus on before we even go into an arena. I don't know, that ain't. Look at what you telling your mind. Look at what we tell our mind. I can't. That's not, So your body is going to respond because Brother Nuri said, this is a key point, y'all. We're not a body with a mind in it. We're a mind with a body wrapped around it. It is the mind that is the command center. It is the mind. The body is a slave to your mind. If I tell myself, come on, man, let's go. Keep going. One more. My body will submit. But if I give myself an excuse, all right, that's enough, boy. All right, you sacrifice it. Come on. You can stop. My body is going to submit. So this is why trainers are important, because the trainer is there the trainer ain't spotting you the whole way. The trainer is there to keep your mind right. Come on, keep going. One more push. The trainer is really training your mind if we but knew. This is why when you trying to work out and lose weight or gain weight or gain muscle by yourself, it's hard. You got to hire the trainer because our mind naturally going to the easiest thing. Let me quit. Let me stop. I ain't gonna do all 10 reps. But the trainer is gonna be there to force your mind to say, come on, we doing all 10. And matter of fact, give me one more. And then you will see, damn, my body's stronger than I thought it was. It's the mind, man. Let's go to let's see who was next. Let's go to Brother Robert. Arthur Robert, DOC.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Sending blessings.
Peace.
Yeah, Ben, I relate to him on all levels about focusing your body, folks, because your body is like 80% communication. That's what I said, right? So what he was demonstrating that part. He also said about inconsistency.
I'm sorry, we want to hear you. Are you on Bluetooth?
No, I'm driving, so it might be I'm in the car phone.
Okay, because it usually don't sound too good on Bluetooth. We can kind of hear you. I just want us to get that wisdom that you're giving us.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk clear because my truck phone ain't clear enough.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but when he was talking about being inconsistent, like I procrastinate in certain areas, but I start projects and don't do them, and then my mind to say, well, you always start stuff not completing it and then not finishing it. So he had a lot of key points in that area where you train your thought, and then when you get your body to do what it needs to do, it will really change it. He's a powerful messenger, and that was a powerful message that I received from that, and it's actually true. I done did it myself, but I just received a lot from that. I just thank you for that.
Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing, brother. Let's go to Sister Leslie.
Assalamu alaikum. How you doing?
Alaikum salam.
I just really was listening to the thing today, and it just really reminded me a lot, because I know I was listening to another thing with King Simon, and he was talking about mental illness, and he was talking about like most everyone have some type of form of schizophrenia, and it brought me to a whole nother thing, like how it in life, if you sit next to someone and their energy is transferable, but it's kind of like you already have multiple energies in you just from being raised around certain environments and people. So it's just like how he was saying, it's physical things that you could do to rewrite your whole way that you perceive things, basically, right? And how we have to have balance, like you were saying, sometimes you just have to have a trainer. So it's just like, putting yourself in situations around people like this power call is really important. So you can be around people who are striving for betterment, because it's so many situations in life, like going to a job. Most people ain't going to a job because they striving to do better. They striving to pay their bills and survive. They, you know, and just, putting yourself in, good environments, like, going to the gym, or, like you said, getting a trainer or a dietitian, if that's what your need is. And, you know, so it was just, everyone has a certain role in, procrastination, and really what you think is what you are is, most of the things, kind of go to, like if you have certain qualities that are higher ranking, then you might don't be, on the same goal schedule as the same person that has the same goal as you, just because you might really want to get good credit and you don't really care too much about the love. That might be like number 4. And so, you know, it just really, it's really about perspective. Like, someone could have a perspective of, thinking lowly of themselves, but they could be, the most magnificent person to the person that's watching them. So, it's just really about what you're thinking, your perspective, and realizing what your personal needs are, as far as, what if you what are they called again? The the list of things that the man had. But yeah, that's my take. Thank you. Peace.
Praise be to Allah. Man, this is some deep stuff. I'm about to get vulnerable with y'all a little bit. Man, this is some deep stuff today. So let me share this before I get a little vulnerable. I want to share that I encourage you all to learn, and you guys are going to learn how I use AI to really help you. Like, man, not just this business stuff. I tell chat about like my life and my upbringing and things that I went through so that it can help me put things in perspective. It's almost like my therapist, if you will. I've been telling people that it's like my therapist. So as I'm taking notes here and I put this in my chat, I said, based on what you know about me, here's my top 2. Help me kind of see how this affects me, who I am in personal and even business relationship. Now check this out. Check out what I'm, man. So I said my top 2 will probably be significance and contribution. Now I had an idea of why those are my 2, but I asked chat, I said, based on what you know about me, why do you think? Now check this out. It said why significance is top for me. I was born in prison. Okay. So those who don't know, I was born in prison. My biological mother gave me to my mom, how I call my real mom, about 6 to 10 days later. And she raised me all my life, with my dad, which was her husband. My biological father, I never seen him until his funeral. So my first time seeing him was in his casket. So as I'm looking at this, it says you were born in prison, handed off as a baby from jump. Life gave you a message that you better find your own meaning. I didn't grow up with big family gatherings or validation per se. So I created my identity through content, through the teachings, I found my voice online in my room. That's why I found significance outside of playing basketball, of course. It said becoming a leader, building a following, and teaching thousands. That's not ego. That's purpose wrapped in significance. You want to feel that what you say and do matters, that you matter. And what I was identifying about myself, man, in certain areas, it's not that I don't have the skill. It's not that I don't have the drive. But as a young child, as a little boy, I always wondered, man, am I worthy enough? Because the parents, the very beings that birthed me, never called for me. They never came for me. They never attempted to spend any time for me. So there was, no matter how great I became, no matter how many people said these great things about me, there was a part of me that said, I must not be good enough. See, so that's why I'm encouraging y'all, when you figuring out whatever your order is, also go a little deeper and identify, why is that my order? Why is that my top two? And it can help you put you into perspective. It says significance also explains why you care about your name, your brand, your reputation. See, there's some things that done took place y'all not all familiar with. Even y'all who, was a part of what I'm talking about, y'all know, y'all still ain't got the whole thing. But why? So it's saying, some people like, let it go, Won't you just move on? It's easy for them. But it says significance also explains why you care so much about that. And you gotta make that right. Your reputation is important. Then it says, then I wanted to know, man, how can this affect relationships? Good, bad. So it says, one of my challenges, you may feel frustrated when people who don't move with the same urgency or dedication. I do. You may take it personal when someone doesn't recognize your value or dismiss your role in their growth. I said, wow. It says, if too focused on significance, you could accidentally micromanage or control, because doing it right is part of feeling valuable. And that's me. I want it done right, and I want it done fast. I'm like, damn, boy, you want it done right and fast. Ooh, that's a struggle. But that's what I've struggled with, because I've done a lot of things myself. You go from self-employed, now you got a team if you want to scale. And in your mind, man, if I gotta do it, I'll just do it myself. But that's not scalable. So that's actually hurtful to me and the company. So, man, that's something that I've battled with. Then it says in personal life, oh man, this one, if someone doesn't affirm your worth, you might feel invisible or unappreciated, even if they love you. Oh, that's a big one. If someone doesn't affirm your worth, you may feel invisible or unappreciated. So if the opposite happens, if you say something, do something to where I may feel insignificant, oh, it's a big hit on me. Damn, it rocks me. I may not know how to respond. Especially years ago, it'll be an immature response. But now that I'm more aware of that, I can be, more conscious of my feelings, how it made me feel, why I feel this way. And I can look at it in a different lens now. And it ain't got to be, oh, they don't do this. This ain't going to work. No, it's just, you got a high level of significance here, boy. So the perception of my reality is different because of the top value that I have. It says contribution can lead to overfunctioning. You carry the load even when tired because you feel responsible for others' growth. I done dealt with that. Carrying the load, feeling like other things that's not really my responsibility is my responsibility. Then I can't really carry it all. And then I kind of go into maybe a depression, or I'm tired like a mug. It says you may unintentionally expect others to rise up at the pace you did, but not everyone's process is like yours. So then it gives me what to watch for. It says when balanced, I say I want to be impactful. When out of balance, I need to be admired. I done heard myself say that. I want to give. I overgive and feel used. That's when you're out of balance. I overgive and feel used. When I'm balanced, it says I lead to serve. Out of balance, I serve but get resentful. Then it give me some tips. I'm saying this for me so that y'all can start to look and see how you can analyze it for your life. It give me 3 tips and I'm gonna pass it on. It says the first tip for my personal life It says communicate your need to be appreciated. Don't just hope people see it. Tell them how you feel most loved. See how easy that is? In my mind, it ain't that easy, but it's easy. Hey, just communicate that you need to feel appreciated. Boom. So now they know. See, so that's why, knowledge of self. This is what I think is really a part of knowledge of self. Yeah, knowledge of self, who the black man is. But I'm talking about on this level, man, the more I know me, I can communicate me. But if I don't know me, I can't even tell you how to love me or how to handle me because I don't know. Business tip, keep leading with mission over recognition. Let significance come as a byproduct of your contribution. Then it says number 3, reflection practice. Ask, would I still do this if nobody clapped? That's how you balance both needs and integrity. Woo, that's deep. You want to be a giant who lifts others, not just a giant everyone looks at. Deep stuff, man. Somebody said, what are you reading from? Did you take a test? No, I use AI, man. I kind of tell AI a lot of stuff, man. So when I'm learning new things, and this is just a tip for y'all. When I'm learning new things, I'm able to give it to Chat GPT because it upgraded its memory and say, hey, based on what I just learned here, I would say, based on what you know about my life, how can this apply to me? You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, it may say some things that may be a little off. You know what I mean? But I done told about my birth. I done told about a lot of stuff. So when I'm learning something and I get something in the book, hey, help me understand this. Help me perceive this based on the struggles I have, based on the weaknesses. And man, it be bringing things in. I mean, it be painting a picture, man. So that's how I use it. Okay, let's go to let's go back to Brother Pat.
Man, you said a lot, man. I'm still unpacking and processing a lot of stuff that you had, man, that you said, because it was just so many good points. And I was about to pull out my phone and try to take some notes. It's like around this time, I be want to, do more note taking and whatnot, but I be driving, I be moving around. But yeah, man, that was a lot of good points that you made. That was beautiful. And I want to say I appreciate you for everything that you're doing, for you taking this role and, feeling the calling to help other people. And, but yeah, it is very important that we take out the time to make sure that we evaluate, everything that we are doing and making sure that we're taking care of ourselves too. And I use ChatGPT too. I asked it before, what are my blind spots? Like, what is it that, I feel like I should be working on versus what I'm focused on? Because I use it a lot. I give it a lot of information. But I feel like a lot of us need to disabuse our mind of the fear of AI, because it talks about how fear in the Bible talks about how fear can snare man. And, a lot of us are snared through fear of this AI, this technology. And, I know some people, they're like, I don't even want to fool with it. I don't want to deal with it. It's the devil. And I'm just like, man, but I mean, hey, to each his own. But yeah, the point that I wanted to make was, Sister Love, she brought up something talking about, the changing of your environment, right? And how important it is and how it can affect one's mindset and how they feel. And I have a landscaping company out in Dallas, and, me being in landscaping, it had me doing some research on environmental psychology, because, I just had to tap in and know and understand, like, how is what I'm doing affecting my clients. And when we remodeling somebody's property and they say, I want my backyard to look like this and that. And, people aren't doing this just to be doing this. A lot of people, they chasing a feeling. Like some people, they may have been to Tulum and, they are inspired by it and they want to bring Tulum to their house because of the way that it made them feel. So they try to find a way to replicate that and bring it home with them because it gave them peace of mind. It made them feel good. It was a de-stressor for them, to go out into the world and deal with all these challenges and whatnot. We have to, find a form of peace. And, changing your environment is very important because when you have peace of mind, when you have clarity, it allows you to be able to treat yourself and others better. Because whenever I'm hustling and bustling, and it's like, man, I don't got enough time to really take out the time to thoroughly clean up my crib like I want to. Little things start piling up here and there. It's like once you let one little thing slide, it's like, oh man, I usually will put that in the dishwasher, but I'm gonna just leave that on the counter this time. Or I usually put that book on the shelf, but I'm gonna just let that sit on the table this time. And it's like you can't even let yourself slide on those little minor things because then it start building up, and the next thing you know, you got a whole mess you got to clean up. And it's not even just showing up physically in your home; it's showing up mentally in your mind too. Because when you building up tasks around you, then you start having all these tabs opened in your mind. This major computer that we have, and next thing you know, what happens when you have so many tabs open on your computer? It starts buffering. It starts slowing down. It don't work as smooth and as fast as it possibly can. So, eventually we're gonna have to look and be like, okay, I got too many tabs open. Let me start cleaning up. Let me start closing these apps on my phone. Let me start cleaning up, my space in my room. Let me change my environment so that my mental can be right, so that I can feel good. And now you can have more creative thoughts because your mind is not cluttered with so many to-dos because there's so many things that you have not taken care of that needs to be taken care of so that you can think clearly and be able to be operating at your fullest self, and you can serve yourself and others with love and kindness. So yeah, I just thought about that because Sister Love, she talked about that change of environment. And I think Elijah Muhammad talked about this too. I'm paraphrasing, but he was basically saying, you can be reading and studying, and you can have all these attributes of, you know, activating the God within and becoming a God. But as soon as you be around Pookie and Ray Ray and them, and you hanging out with them for, days, weeks, and, some of them attributes start to kind of slip. You may not be on your dean like you was before. So, your environment and your surroundings is extremely important. But yeah, I just wanted to share that, family. All right, peace.
Peace. Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's go to Sister Kenyatta.
Assalamu alaikum. So, this is interesting. This whole what we listen to, and even more so, Brother Ben, what you just did. So, I think I've told you before about me that, like, when I'm learning something, if while I'm listening, if something is given to me, I'll automatically remember. I was telling you, my focus will go. It kind of will drift off a little bit. And so when you said what you did with AI, right? Because I use AI all the time. I always talk to people and say, like, once I started to understand AI, like, I could be laying in bed, sleep, and I'll wake up and I'll have a thought and I'll just go to AI. Like, I just talk to AI like that's my friend. Like, I talk to AI so casually. It's just like, I need to give her a name because she's just like, I'm always talking to her. But anyway, so when you said, I was just listening to the 6 points and, what the gentleman was saying. And then I was thinking about me, like where I'm at in my life and, how I, like what's hindering me, like what is stopping me, right? So when I looked at that list, I would probably say, honestly, if I were to just put not like deep thought into it, but just if I just looked at the list and just quickly thought about which would be on the top of my list, it would probably be uncertainty. And then under that would be certainty, right? So when you said, I said, well, let me put that in Chat GPT. And, because I've been building the program and things like that in Chat GPT, right? So they know it. Chat GPT knows, she knows a little bit about me. But I said, well, let me go a little bit deeper. And I'm going to be vulnerable too, because it's cool, because I'm trying to figure things out. So vulnerability is cool. So I know, like, when I was young, in talking to my mom, I remember her saying to me that she didn't want to have me, right? And I also remember her saying to me, she found out she was pregnant with me when she went back to get her first checkup after having my brother. And they told her she was pregnant. So I remember that my mom said all through her pregnancy, she was miserable, right? She was unhappy. And then it came to a point, even after she had me, which I'm the youngest out of three, she was pretty much like getting ready to like lose her mind, right? To the point where, like, whenever my dad would go to work, he would have to have somebody come and be with my mom. And my mom said even those years, she can't even remember like what was going on. Like she kind of lost that time. And she said, like, I don't even know who took care of how you all were taken care of, right? And like I remember her saying, like even when I was born, like I didn't sit in the womb correctly, so my legs weren't correct. So when she had me from a little girl, I had to wear those like Forrest Gump braces. But so as a baby, like I would have to have those braces on. It didn't stop me, but I had to have those things on. I remember as a child, I had a lot of fears, like a lot of fears. Like I would be afraid of just everything. And I also remember as a child, I was very, very insecure, like afraid to talk, never thought I was intelligent enough, never thought that I could, I could remember like being afraid, like having an idea, but being scared to say it. I can remember as a child, usually as children, you have godparents. Like my brother and sister had godparents. I didn't. I always felt like I was in the shadow. So I never felt. So I'm an influencer and the lady. So I never felt accepted. So I had a lot of fears, right? All the way up. So, and I always looked for validation from other people, right? So, and then which caused me to get into some, as I got older, which is crazy, like I got into a somewhat of a mentally abusive relationship. So I had all like a lot of things, right? So I kind of and I'm going to actually go deeper into that. It was Chat GPT. So I kind of did what you did, right? And so I want to just kind of share what it says very briefly and real quick. Okay. So the first thing it said was, uncertainty has always been present, so it's familiar, even if it's uncomfortable. It says, when you mention not being planned or even known about during pregnancy, it can create this deep-rooted feeling as of, I wasn't expected, or even was I wanted. That's a huge uncertainty to carry, especially from the very start of life. Then growing up, feeling unsure of yourself, afraid to speak, doubting your intelligence. These experiences reinforce the presence of uncertainty in your internal world. Certainty becomes your anchor. Because uncertainty has always been such a thing, it's natural that your soul would crave certainty, something stable, something you can count on. When you didn't feel chosen or confident, certainty represents that opposite feeling, being being seen, valued, safe, grounded. It becomes something to chase because it brings your peace. It brings peace in contrast to the instability or unknowns you may have felt growing up. You're a builder. You create what you didn't have. From what I know, you're constantly creating spaces, programs, opportunities, and ideas that build structure, purpose, and connection, not just for you, but for others. That's a powerful response to uncertainty. You're not just surviving it, you're actively designing certainty for others. You know what it feels like to be unsure, unchosen, or in the background, and you're determined to make sure others don't feel that way. Your drive is rooted in deep empathy and emotional intelligence. Being the youngest, not having godparents, and feeling like the quiet one likely gave you a front row seat to observe everything around you. That sensitivity probably made you highly intuitive, but also hyper aware of instability. Certainty becomes a need, not a preference, because it's the key to feeling safe enough to show up fully. It says, so in short, uncertainty was your environment. Certainty became your anchor survival. And now you're transforming both into your superpowers. And then it says, then I kind of went deeper because I wanted to know about like what caused me to get into this mentally abusive relationship and stay there, right? So it says, when I kind of asked it about that, if y'all don't mind me sharing this really quickly, um, uncertainty becomes familiar, even comfortable. When you grow up in an environment where you're not fully seen, heard, or affirmed, your nervous system learns to normalize uncertainty.
Mm.
Expect the unexpected. You learn to be hyper aware of other people's moods and energy, a survival mechanism. You often feel like you have to earn love or prove your worth. So when someone love bombs you or gives you inconsistent affection in a relationship, it doesn't automatically raise alarms. It feels like what you've always known, unpredictable love. Lack of core validation leads to self-doubt. If you never felt smart or confident, if you were quiet and internalized the belief that your thoughts or presence didn't carry value, you're more likely to overvalue other people's opinions and minimize your own.
Mm.
That if something's wrong in the relationship, it must be your fault. Accept criticism or emotional manipulation as justified because deep down you already struggle with self-worth. So when someone mentally abuses you, gaslighting, controlling, or demeaning you, it taps directly into that childhood narrative. Maybe they're right. Maybe I am the problem. It said you crave certainty and settled for control. When you never had real certainty growing up, you can start to confuse control with safety. An abusive partner often offers certainty at first, structure, strong opinions, plans, protection. But over time, that control reveals itself as manipulation. Yet, because certainty is something you've always wanted, you may have stayed because at least I know what to expect. At least
Mm.
one wants me. At least I'm not alone. This is crazy. That feeling of belonging can be so powerful. This is crazy that it outweighs the harm. It's crazy, especially if your inner child still doesn't feel chosen.
Come on.
This is so crazy. I'm sorry. This is crazy. As I'm saying this, I could go on and on, but I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop because this is just a lot. But I'm just being vulnerable because, like really at this point in my life, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm really trying to figure this thing out. Like I'm trying to understand because I don't like being in the place that I am, right? And then I know that life is short, man. We don't have time to be afraid to figure it out. Like, man, we got to go deep. We got to figure out what's holding us back. Like it is imperative, right? So like for me, I'm like, this is wild. This is so crazy. But when I look at where I'm at in my life, when I look at some of the decisions I've made, when I look at what's holding me back, man, that's crazy. Cause that is like hitting, like it's like, oh man, it's crazy. But anyway, I thank you for that. I thank you for your vulnerability, Brother Ben, once again. But I also thank you by
defining this vulnerability.
We should take that. Like if you said, as we're sharing these things, if we're really trying to, whether we're comfortable with it or not, right? Do it. If Brother Ben said, I did this and this is what ChatGPT gave me. If I'm saying I did this, this is what ChatGPT gave me. Y'all, we got to do it. If we really trying to really heal ourselves, I mean, like for real. Anyway, I'm going to stop there because I really could go on and on. But yes, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Praise be to Allah, man. That's beautiful to hear. Because when you kept saying, that's crazy. I said that about 50 times too. When I first did this a few weeks ago, I said, man, I need some therapy. I said, you know what, first, let me see if AI can be my therapist a little bit. Man, that thing started putting things into perspective for me. I said, ooh, this here is crazy. Boy, I'm seeing it, man. I mean, I'm looking at myself, man. So you just helped me with one of my top two. To hear you say that and get the revelation that you're getting, I'm feeling significant. I helped somebody with another strategy. I feel like I'm contributing to your life by giving you away. So man, that just you fueling me as I'm hearing you get them revelations, man. But it's deep, man. I encourage y'all to do it, man. I mean, that stuff. Cause knowing yourself, it ain't nothing like knowing yourself, man. Knowing yourself, and it's so amazing because now I can move in life with just a different level of awareness. You know, I can when I'm feeling something, I can now identify, okay, this is why I'm feeling it. You know, I got a choice now. I got more knowledge. I got different options now versus it just being, well, this is how I am, you know. I don't know what it is, man. It's like, no, I'm figuring out what this is now, boy. I'm getting to the root of this thing. And now I can have a better quality of life. And man, I gotta say it. What I've learned, y'all, is in business and our offers and the reason we can't go live and the reason we can't make content and the reason we taking forever creating our courses and programs is rooted in some of this stuff that is rooted in a lot of this personal stuff, y'all. It's easy for me not to go live if I feel unworthy because I don't even feel worthy to be talking to y'all. So this man or this woman telling me to post 3 to 5 times a day and I feel insignificant. I feel like my words don't matter. So if you dealing with me posting, but you're not dealing with me not feeling valuable, I ain't gonna say you're not teaching me, but you ain't getting to what's really finna move me to go get the result. Because what's stopping me is not the new strategy. I don't need another strategy. I need to tap into that little boy and that little girl that don't feel valuable enough to post some content, that don't feel valuable enough to do no damn ebook. That's what I'm learning, y'all. You don't need no Canva tutorial. You don't need another Canva course. I need to learn what's stopping me from feeling like my story isn't worthy enough to be read. That's what it really is. I can go find somebody on Fiverr to put this thing together for $40. I done gave y'all that game. Why ain't many people put them books out yet? It ain't because you don't know how. Come on now. It ain't because you don't know how to post. It ain't because you don't know how to hit that live button. It ain't because you don't know how to post on your Facebook. It ain't because you don't know how to call all those people in your phone. It ain't because you don't know how to call them and talk about your product. It's something deeper. Something a little bit deeper, man. It's a little bit deeper. And when we fix that, we can get up out of our cage and we can go live, man. We can grow. But if we stay in this cage, man, we're going to die, man. We're going to die feeling like, damn, I didn't do it. Oh, I wanted to do it. Something in me was pulling on me, but I just couldn't do it, man. Y'all know that feeling, man? Every year you're getting older now. Every day, every second, we getting older. So we gotta go, man. We gotta go find that key, man, to get us up out this box mentally that we in. And then look at what he said. Tony Robbins said, we tell ourselves stories that keep us in there. That's the piece. He says, when you're in a bad state, you come up with stories for while you're in there. If you tell yourself the right story, you're empowered. If you tell yourself the wrong story, you're disempowered. So now we begin to come up with stories in our head that may not even be true, that keep us stuck. So we'll go tell ourselves a story to validate why I'm in this condition. Damn, and then that's a loop there. And you just reaffirming why you gonna be right here versus getting in another state of mind, shifting my focus, and going and letting my life meet what my focus is and where my new state is. That's the shift. Deep stuff, man. This is a deeper power call than I thought. Okay, let's go to who up next? Man, there's some deep stuff this morning. Let's go to brother Roberto.
Yes. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. And I do, family, have to leave in less than an hour. I gotta go somewhere, so we gotta close out here shortly. But go ahead,
Brother Ben. Thank you so much for giving us the history of how when you were giving up these 6 points, certainty, uncertainty, significance, love and connection, growth and contribution. I was, because I'm in a time where I'm trying to find a loving connection, a need to feel important or special, but I also some of the points I didn't write down, but they resonate. And one that I did was one where you said, you created that your reality by finding the content, and outside of the basketball and what you had to do, and also seeing how others felt about you joining the nation in the beginning, and I remember when you told us about how your feelings of certainly I'm going to quit this team, but uncertainty of the growth, opportunity to grow at that time, and that's how I feel right now, where I feel just a grief for my inability to contribute, although I feel like this is going to be my 50th birthday this July 13th, and I'm going to be 50 years old. I have very few friends. I have never really seen the hatred towards Black people when I was going through college, but I would always feel like sometimes significant, special, but not, but it didn't, nothing that was coming out anyone's mouth, really resonated that they were contributing to the or supporting me at the time. So it was almost like a competitive thing where we often I often allow my fear to see the reality, and it has gotten me into arguments with peers over recently over things that are out of my reach. I'm unable to change or bring back somebody to life. Is somebody who lacks a knowledge of self, or who says that the NOI isn't, Muhammad Ali was a Muslim but wasn't part of the NOI. Well, I'll argue, and they can argue and say whatever, but there's various things that I'm certain about, and other things that I'm uncertain about, other things that make me feel significant, some things that make me feel insignificant, and as far as growth and contribution, think I'm gonna just be thankful to have the power call in my life and have awakened me from that mentally dead state that I was in, and just going to school and going to work, and even going to church when I had none of my siblings, none of my relatives in the town that I live in. I've been in this town for over 40 years, so I was, but I have I can now, I'm starting to slowly see the development of 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 various populations that struggle to learn the word of the Quran because they don't want to feel like they are, going against the grain or going against what their forefathers taught them. And that's so that to every culture is important. um but when we are unable to see the reality that there are there has always been a plan for us to do as much as we could, and feel like sometimes insignificant or not loved, or unable to maybe change the circumstance, or even bring somebody back to give us the answers, because maybe that's the only person in our lives that understood us. um we are a part of that plan, that if we turn to God, things will eventually um flourish and grow. But also, some people feel, why bother comparing, um you know any I feel, why bother, really grieving myself when I feel now, that I'm contributing to the relationship that I'm trying to build with God by doing the prayers. And as long as we can feel like significant, then we can feel certain that He is seeing us. But during that time where I feel I'm being misunderstood by, I've been through depression, I've been through loneliness, and this was after graduating college, which wasn't a part of my plan. But just as I grow and reflect, and look back on experiences, going to these offices and just waiting for a specific hour of the day, and the medicine does help. um but sometimes we've got to talk to God. We because there is no other way to fulfill, or to feel that connection with somebody who lacks a knowledge of self, or who continues to deny their fear of being loved. Like myself, I have a fear of being loved. And when the first time I heard Brother Ben, I was like, wow, he's so young, but he has this, everything just resonated, and it felt like I was during going to elementary school, and waiting for religion class to start. And one of the most difficult classes, I think, for us all is just studying self, and who is God. And no other religion will make it clearer for us than the Nation of Islam. And I thank you, Brother Ben, for really mentioning that. You know, reality must be perceived with the right mind, and mentioning Brother Nurin, because he has written some books, Let This Mind Be in You and the Mathematics of the Mind, that, I wish I had more of this knowledge when I was in high school, and when I was going to college for nursing. And now I'm by myself. I don't have siblings that grew up with me, but I do have a respect and honor for them. But there's no honor, no, there's nothing that I feel is more exciting than seeing somebody, turn. turn towards the right direction that they should, because we didn't. I got left for detention a few times, and I like I said, I still have doubts and fears myself, but I'm also in need, and we gotta also also draw that line, because there's a thin line between love and hate. And if we not deny the hatred for ourselves, then we are automatically throwing all the teachings that 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 have helped
60 more
people
seconds.
people that claim, oh, this person's a Muslim, and 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 Muhammad Ali, and it has helped people get to where they are. It's not just thanking God, but also being certain that you have that connection with him. And it's just a beautiful thing to see people at young and old, trying to strive for righteousness, and just doing right is part of feeling valuable. Is one of the things that stuck out to me.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
brother Ben.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, we got Sister Shalonda. We're gonna close out with with Sister excuse me, Sister Diabra.
All right, now, my goodness, please excuse my camera, but my goodness, thank you tremendously for this. Everyone's story has just gone deep down inside, Brother Ben. Your story and what you shared about Chat GPT, that just really put a whole different light and awareness that this can really happen. I had no idea of this, but it just brightened me up so much. And then the whatever the lecture is, where you got those points, those 6 points from, that there is just such an awakening and such a powerful set of just a powerful set of things to use, to look at, to think about, and to put that front and center in your life, and know that if this is mentioned in the manner that it is, this is some real deep stuff. And it just opened me up on a whole nother level. I'm not sure exactly what the other points that he put together, where when he said this is because of this, and with this and without that, then this happens. The one that really stuck with me is when he said, if you don't use your courage, it dwindles. The other day, I just mustered up the courage and it was after class. There was a feeling inside of me that I had to express. So I did it. I went live, and it was such a powerful feeling inside of me. And I really talked like I've never talked before on this live. And the responses that I got were incredible. I even had someone to phone me or to reach out to me that had my phone number and share some things with me about that live. I also had my lieutenant to call me and tell me to take it down, which hurt my heart. But I understood why, because it was class material. We don't share that. So I know I have to do it whenever I speak and communicate like I did, because I know that I'm going to muster the courage up again to do that. And thank you for those points again, because now I know why I have not had the courage, excuse me, whatever's going on in my throat. I know now why I have not had the courage to go ahead and make things happen that I know that needs to happen, that's so deep down in my heart, with me knowing exactly what direction to go, what I want to do, what I want to communicate about. And Dr. Kenyatta, oh my goodness, when she ran down what she ran down, that's my freaking life. I know there are more to add and more to take away, but damn, she sounded like she was talking my stuff. What happened to me? Jesus. So, see, I'm not gonna let Satan do that when I haven't talked like this, and now my throat want to be acting a fool. Okay, so that the powerful messages that came behind this was just an ignition, me putting a key in ignition and starting it. And I just pray to Allah that this here is what I need to just keep it moving forward. Knowing what Chat GPT can do, and knowing that there's a memory in there, that's just another awesomeness and another fire starter that can kickstart. But that, me knowing now about not using the courage, is if I had the courage enough to muster up the language and the communication that I shared, the other day, then I know that I can do it again because the feeling that I had was remarkable. I mean, I'm literally talking like I've just been talking for years and years and years. So if I did it then, I know I can do it again, and I know I can do it again. And then with this here piece that you shared with us today, and with Chat GPT and those 6 points, that's just a blast off. So thank you so very much. Thank you, Kenyatta, for sharing your story. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Brother Roberto, for just sharing what you shared, and the others for sharing, because each thing that was shared by each and every one put a little bit more courage inside of me and a little bit more certainty, because those 6 points are so freaking real in my life. The uncertainty, the certainty, the damn near all of them. The growth, I'm grateful for the growth that I've had, but I still know that, and I don't want to say but because I know that negates it. I'm grateful for everything, and that right there starts everything. Being grateful. So I'm grateful for where I am now because I know where I was in 2020. After I had a heart attack in 2019 is when I ran into the content with Brother Ben. I've been stuck here for a reason, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck because of what it is doing for me. Even though I haven't produced like I've wanted to produce, I will never walk away because I know at some point it's going to happen. As long as I'm consistent with being where I am right now, this power call is amazing, and I'll leave it right there. And thank you, Brother Ben, for what you've put together. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your story. Thank you for everything that you brought to us, especially now, this Chat GPT, because I'm getting ready to use the heck out of that. So thank you.
Praise be to Allah. Sister Diabra.
Peace and blessings. So, thank you, Brother Ben, for that video, the 6 points. And I also want to thank all the precious souls that were very vulnerable on this medium today. And because it has really made me think about a lot of things and perspectives of my life, and some work that needs to be done on myself. And I want to know, what AI are you guys using? Because I asked AI and Facebook a question, and it gave me the most stupidest answer that I end up going to Google and found out exactly what I needed to know. And I also put a comment to let them know that's kind of stupid. But anyways, so yes, I need to know what AI you're using. What is that, like a different app or something? And I definitely need to connect with Chat GPT.
Yes, ma'am. It's the one that's called, if you go to the website, which is chatgpt.com, and I would recommend you get the $20 a month plan because they have up the memory. So it'll be able to remember past conversations that you've had, past things that it helped you out with, and it will be able to use that when it's answering modern things. So just go to chatgpt.com. You should be able to sign up with your Gmail and just get the $20 a month plan.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So I'm going to get vulnerable here again. Last thing. No, I usually don't do this, as y'all would know, but shoot, boy, it's getting about that time. However, I always want to contribute. So let me start off with the past, and we're going to bring this up as fast as possible. As you all know, when I first started this, well, some of y'all know who was here in the beginning. When we first started the power call, I was paying $4,000 a month to run this power call. I know it's a crazy number. I know y'all like, wow. But I was paying $4,000 a month to run this power call because I was paying for editors, for the graphics, for upload. It was just a bunch of stuff. The text messages, because so many people needed the text message reminder. So to text thousands of people every morning, that was a high cost. So I would always say, hey guys, it's free for y'all, but it ain't free for me. Y'all have heard me over the past maybe few weeks or months say, man, y'all support is really helping out. I'll tell y'all one day. Well, I was gonna tell y'all a little later, but I wanted to share that the power call needs a little help. I'll say that. Let me share with y'all why. There was I'm not gonna say any names, but there was a client that we did some work for. We did their website, we did their funnel, we set up their automation, we set up their emails, and they spent over $25,000 with another company, and they didn't get They told me they didn't get a lead, one lead. And they paid back in February, like of last year, or whenever this was, February. And when they came to us, they was like, man, we paid all of that and we haven't even got a lead. So I said, well, we'll do this for you. And our guarantee will be, well, we can at least help you get one qualified lead. If that's all you need. She was like, I just need one qualified lead. I was like, well, I can help you get at least one qualified lead. And or if we don't, we'll work with you. Don't charge you a monthly management fee until you do. This is all on camera, right? I should have caught the red flag in the beginning. We signed the contract. She looks in the contract and the contract says that, hey, or we'll work with you until you do. She said, well, we didn't discuss that. She DM'd me. Well, we didn't discuss work with you until you do. So I had to literally go back to the Zoom, screen record it and send it to her. I was like, yes, ma'am. I said it right here. Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. So do you guys know, and this is a lesson to you all who are in business too, please, service-based businesses take heed. Number one, get off Stripe. Get off Stripe as soon as possible if you have a high-ticket product. I've been hearing that for years in the industry. Don't use Stripe, don't use Stripe, don't use Stripe. You hear a lot of, there's even ads about this now, but anyways, fast forward. So we do this work for her, y'all. I literally have messages, Slack messages where she said, yes, they were qualified. So I sent her a qualified lead. Our job was not to close. Obviously, we don't close. We're not in her business. We were just helping her with the marketing and bring in leads. So we launched. There's some things we need to fix. So we stopped the launch. But within that 7-day period that we said, she did get a qualified lead. I knew how I could get her a qualified lead because I can just refer her to someone because I knew people that had a 700 plus credit score. The qualified lead was anybody who had a 700 plus credit score, and I sent one myself, and we attracted one with the marketing. Now, where am I going with this? So time goes by, months go by, literally months go by. I done added and we done integrated AI. We done changed her website. We done changed her system to our. It's a lot that we had did. And she charged back the total amount. So she said that we did not render the service to her. And the reason many coaches say get off of Stripe, because whenever you're using Stripe or especially credit card companies, they typically go with the customer, because they in their mind, shoot, they don't want to lose a customer, so they side with the customer. I put together an entire presentation and submitted it. Hey, this is our agreement. Here's her saying it out of her own. Well, I can't say out of her own mouth, but her messages. She said it was a qualified lead. So to make it even worse, y'all, I called the leads that we acquired just to check who all had a 700 plus credit score. I started calling people. Boom, because she was like, well, we haven't done this, and it's been this long. It was a few months. I was like, hey, it's been almost a year. We got at least 30 leads for you. Now, all of them aren't qualified, of course. Everybody don't have a 700 plus credit score, but I'm calling them, right? She has a problem with me calling them. Well, I didn't know you was going to be calling. Well, you're accusing us of not bringing you a qualified lead, right? We're your marketing team. We set up your system. So I'm just calling them just to verify who has a qualified lead. Now, I probably shouldn't have done that. Why not? Here's why, y'all. I end up messaging her. I put this in the messages to the Stripe. Hey, I told her, here's a qualified lead who said he has a 700 plus credit score. Follow up with him on Monday. So we did do our job, sister. Do you know what happened, y'all? I go back, and days later, she has removed that lead from the sub account. So she went in and deleted. I shouldn't have told her the name of him. I told her the name of the person who was qualified and said, call him on Monday. She deleted him out of the account. So, charge back everything after I've already paid the team. So I have VAs, obviously. We have team members, right? So in my mind, we done already done the work. We good. We already passed. Now check this piece out. Here goes another piece. The guarantee was within 7 days of launch. So follow me here. The guarantee was, hey, if we don't get you one qualified lead within 7 days, you can get your money back or you can continue working with us until you do. Well, it was about a month or two afterwards. So that means she obviously said, let's move forward if she didn't request a refund within the 7 days, right? We're working with you. And I'm showing you, hey, we got somebody. So for whatever reason, I guess my contract wasn't written right or whatever the case may be, I guess, but they say it don't matter really. There's somebody who said they have a handwritten letter of somebody who gave them a testimony and they still gave her money back. And that was $25,000. So just don't use Stripe is what I'm saying for high ticket items, y'all. Y'all can use a wire. You guys can use, I'll give y'all some ways, in class or whatever it is. It's some more ways, different platforms that eliminate, that actually tackles this because they know this happens. Because many people say, oh, people who do this, they scam, but you also can scam on the opposite side. There's a thing, I guess, going on where you can take somebody's course or you can do a program and then know that your credit card company will charge you back. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But anyways, what I'm getting at is that really set things back a lot because they charged back the entire amount. We did the work and the team was paid. So I want to share some proof here. And I don't even want y'all to just donate. Okay. So I want to share proof first. And the only reason I'm saying this is because the power call, the status of the power call. So here's kind of how things are. And I don't mind being vulnerable because I already know as long as you add value, you impact people, you can get it back. So use me as an example. I'm probably in the worst position than y'all right now. So I wanted to share. So I'll share. Here's where things are currently, right? So it charged back and it just set everything back. Okay, so that's why y'all see me eating some butter the other day on Instagram. So this is where things is. Not gonna laugh at it because hey, this is what happened. I mean, many business people aren't vulnerable about these things. Now, that's where things are, right? Now, when I got up this morning, this is what I saw on the power call thing. So I'm like, okay, I got to let them know because I don't want them to log in and then something happens. So it says your payment has been declined. Okay. So set things back just a little bit. Now, of course, we just was able to launch some offers. So things is flowing in. We're adding value. But as of right now, that's just how things are. So I'm saying all that to say for the offer. For those of y'all who are able to, because I don't want y'all to just give. This is my problem. It's not y'all problem. Now I know another reason I'm saying this because when I told a brother a couple of years ago that I was paying $4,000 a month to run a power call, he said, "Man, you need to say something." He says, "You need to say something. Let us help you." Because for a long time I wasn't even telling anybody how much I was paying monthly. So anybody who donates at minimum $100, what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer a free consultation. Now, y'all know my consultations are much more than $100. So I'll do a free consultation. All you have to do is let me know inside of the, I guess it's not a free consultation. Let me take that back. I will give you a consultation, highly discounted, if you just submit your donation receipt via the school app, and I will give you a bundle based on what you need, whether if it be one of my courses, whether if it be one of the programs or one of the ebooks, and it will be based on exactly what you need. So anybody who donates at minimum $100, we'll hop on. I'll make time to meet with you guys, at least 30 minutes to an hour. We'll analyze some things, where you're at on the marketing side, get things going. Now, I know somebody may be thinking, well, if you like that, how you going to help me? Well, guys, obviously I know how to make some money. So I'm only in this condition because of, payroll. We was able to make payroll and the chargeback and then these subscriptions, for those who don't know, some of you guys do know with Drea, the reason you guys have 24/7 customer support is because I pay nearly $800 a month to have that. So that's not a regular thing with those agency accounts. Every agency account does not have 24/7 customer support with that platform. We offer 24/7 customer support because I know there's a lot of older people in our platform, in our program. They struggle with technology, so I don't have the time to do it. So At $800 a month, I'm literally have a team on standby 24/7 that can able to service you guys and help you guys. So I have other expenses that maybe other agencies don't have. So that's why things are, kind of the way they are. So here's the link for those who want to support. It's still inside the power call. You guys can donate via PayPal if you want. Here's the link. You can do it for with your card or anything like that. Or you guys can do it via Zelle. The Zelle email will be brotherbenx@gmail.com. And again, I didn't want this to be a thing where I just told y'all a story and y'all just donate. Now, if you want to just donate, great. But for me, I always want whoever to give to get something in return. So anybody who does a minimum 100 will hop on, send me a receipt via school. If you're not inside of school, go to www.thepowercall.net, create a profile, and just message me if you would like to do a consultation. If you want to just give and donate because of what we already do, fine, great. But if you would like a consultation so we can look at what you're doing, offer you one of my programs, one of my systems, one of my tools, I would do that at a discounted rate for helping out during this trying time. And if not, guess what? We're going to make it happen anyway. So I just want to share that and allow you guys to support, because I was told I should start sharing some of those things. And I don't mind being vulnerable. I love some of these times because people can understand that, hey, this is what happens in business. It ain't always peaches and cream, okay? So just want to share that. If you want to help, please do so. If not, all praise is due to Allah. We're going to figure out a way to keep everything moving anyway. So I just want to share that. I do have to get to my meeting now. So if anybody wants to do that, the link is inside of the chat and it's pinned to the top at thepowercall.net. With that being said, thank you all for listening. I really appreciate everybody for being vulnerable this morning. Sister Kenyatta, man, your story when you was hitting them points, man, that was really deep. And I hope everybody was able to listen to that and hear the revelation that she was getting, man, because I got the same revelation. So if you guys I know we talk about business all the time, but man, that personal part, that spiritual part, being able to utilize AI that's non-emotional, is going to go based off the facts. It's going to go based off your history and help you put things into perspective. Man, that thing is something, man. And it's been freeing, man. It lift weights off your shoulder because we walk, at least for me, sometimes we walk with this weight like, man, I wish I wasn't like this, or man, I didn't want to be like this. So it's like, okay, now you're able to identify it and you're able to give yourself grace. You're able to give yourself mercy. Because now you can realize that like the minister said, you're righteous by nature, wicked only by circumstance. So it was a circumstance that made me this way. And when I can identify the circumstance, I can redefine the meaning and what this means in my life. So all praise is due to Allah for anybody who got some help this morning. But inshallah, I'll see you guys in the morning, 8 a.m. Central Time, with another message. Assalamu alaikum and have a blacktastic day.
Is Brother Ben here? Brother Ben. Now, Ben got a heck of a program. A lot of people listening to Brother Ben. And Ben tells them about the minister. And Ben tells them about the minister.